you also worked in Electronic Arts, right?
Yeah.
And you were a producer and a lead designer at EA.
Yeah.
It's how does he? Well, again, like this is probably Stone Age information, but like back then at least, the EA production process. Now I had heard that at that time they didn't really have designers; they had like feature producers. Like you kind of like games were kind of assembled as features, and people had responsibility over those features.
So I wasn't on any of the projects that were like in the most rigid producer model of EA, but yeah, they thought of the producer more as like a stakeholder. And so the stakeholder was sort of setting creative goals, and then those had to be executed upon and try to be fulfilled. And then they would be sort of the arbiter of success on that work. I think they actually didn't, in some ways, they didn't have designers, at least at that kind of senior systems design level. And so, and as a group, then they couldn't organize, kind of make the whole shape of the game. It was great being a producer, because I could run shelter for the design team. I think I sort of saw myself as hacking the system, becoming a producer on Medal of Honor. That was a really fun project, though, because I was so into military history and hadn't had a chance to have any of that be part of my work.
Right. So, and then from there, maybe not directly from there, but you went from major studio work to indie.
Yeah.
With some of your Treyarch brethren.
Yeah.
So, have there been any sacrifices going to indie from AAA? Were the trade-offs worth it? I mean, to be honest, I think, again, we keep talking about things that are decades old. I mean, I think the way jobs were in AAA back then are far different now. I think that there's a lot of different, maybe even better opportunities in AAA, maybe than there were 20 years ago.
I think so.
Yeah, like I don't think developers are treated quite the same way.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that makes it hard is the amount of demand for those positions now, right? And I feel like North America in particular, and its desire to have for the new people to have AAA console projects for their work, puts a ton of demand, and there's always people looking for those jobs. But there's so much more diversity, and there's so many more roles, and there's so many more ways to be involved in making games now. And I mean, it's like Activision, especially, it's just a big machine. There's tons of things you can do.
Yeah, there's a lot more perks and benefits. I mean, crunch, like I've talked about before, like it still exists. Yeah, but I actually feel at a lot of studios, people kind of get compensated for crunch now. Like some of the people I know, I mean, they are selling off huge chunks of their life for money, but they do get paid, I think.
And that is certainly better than it was back in the day.
Yeah. That's why, like, I don't know about you, but sometimes when people come to me and be like, oh, I want to start a company, I'm like, you
have to start a company because you want to learn, because you want to suffer, because you want to change your brain chemistry.
Was the suffering worth it?
I think so.
You think so?
Yeah. I mean, so the trade-off was, even though games is always uncertainty, going from a big AAA studio to your own company is a enormous increase in uncertainty.
Yes.
Overwhelming, I would have to say. In hindsight, I didn't really feel it at the time, because I think any proper console systems designer from the early 2000s wished everything could be more complicated. Mm-hmm. And I did. I wished for it to be more complicated until I stopped wishing it was more complicated.
Yeah, I mean,